Joining me is head football coach Norm Esch. Talking with Coach Kim Nelson-Brown. Talking with Tommy Gilbert from the swim team. And joining us is Coach Oz of women's soccer. Welcome to the Titan Coaches Show. I'm Derek Bohlman. Joining me is women's basketball coach Maya Smith. And Maya, you got to be excited after this weekend. A lot of fun over in Indiana. Tell us a little bit about, from your perspective, the trip.
You know, the girls just played so hard. I've had teams that really work hard, play hard. This team, under adverse conditions, I mean, without our leading scorer, found a way to beat two really great teams. And I could not be more pleased. My grandma's really happy about that, too. She was able to watch both of them. So whenever grandma's happy, everybody's happy.
Well, and you mentioned grandma, so I'm going to go look at the free throw shooting because I know she harps on that. She probably thinks she can do a little better on
she
that
does.
As I look.
And so does this coach.
and I would not disagree. 60% against Wash U and 70% against DePaul for the weekend. Well, let's start with Lauren Huber, because she had an incredible weekend. First of all, the stat that really jumps out. Next year, are you scheduling a game for November 27th?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
She's 31 points a game on November 27th in her career.
Ah, that's great.
which is her career high, by the way.
Yes.
So
right,
she
we'll
did.
have to make sure of that.
She did that this year against Wash U on Sunday in that game, and last year against Rose-Hulman in the first game of the same weekend tournament, she put up 31 in that game also. So she's gonna vote for a game on November 27th. But what an incredible player! 31 points against Wash U. Wash U, a very good team. They beat Milliken a week ago in overtime, who we know is pretty good. So I mean, what a way for somebody to step up like she did.
She's just an incredible athlete to begin with, and you know, Derek, everybody sees that athlete in her, but as her coach and her teammates, we get to see who Lauren Huber is as a person. And I don't know that there's a sweeter girl on our team. The girl just, it oozes sweetness.
And she comes from it naturally. Her family, yes. I've known her family for probably 30 years and or 25 years. And I taught with her aunt, and just an incredible family. She comes by it honestly. It's incredible, but she is such a wonderful young lady. Look forward to talking to her as the season goes on also, but she put up 31 points. You had a couple others in double figures in the game. Laura Malum off the bench. Kate Palmer played all 40 minutes, and Lauren Huber 39. So some long work for the ladies.
Exactly. So I knew Lauren needed a breather, because when we called a 30-second timeout, I put my arms around two of them, and her chest was just heaving. You could feel it in her back, you know. So I knew she needed a quick break. But I had no idea that Kate Palmer played all 40 minutes until I looked at the stat sheet.
Yeah, and then Kelly Carlson went 31. Laura Malum went 30. Caitlin Heller, 27. Kate Knutson, only 18, but she had some foul issues.
Trouble. Yeah, and unfortunate. Her and Caitlin Heller, both unfortunate foul trouble. It almost looked like in that game, and I know this was not intentional, but the best players from both teams were sitting on the bench with foul trouble.
And that makes it tough. And if we look at the game against DePaul, you had some 4 people in double figures: Lauren Huber, Kate Palmer, Kate Knutson, and Caitlin Heller. So and it was balanced between the 4 of them.
And it needs to be balanced. That's where I think we'll be the strongest. And I've been really impressed with Katie Knutson. Her points are not coming easy. Those are some really difficult points that she's getting. But I love the way she's working down in the post. And if you're going to talk about Kelly Carlson, there was not a better player in a game against Eureka and a game against DePaul. She's been doing all the little things that we've really asked her to do, and really stepped up her game this season.
Well, your 2 post players, Kate Knutson and Kelly Carlson, as I look against Eureka, Kelly Carlson 7 for 7 from the field, and then Kate Knutson against DePaul 8 for 10 from the field.
Yes, and again, they just are both. They're doing exactly what we're asking them to do. They're paying attention to the prep and then getting it done from there. So it's rewarding on everybody's part, I think, to watch them play.
So exciting games since the last time we talked 2 weeks ago. Went 3-1 in those games. Lost the one up in Whitewater, who I think was ranked number 4 in the nation when you played them. So a tough match there. But came back against Eureka. I think you're on a 4-game win streak now, 3-game win streak, 4-game win streak because you had Capital in there also. I forgot about that game. So how could I forget? I was there. But what a role that you're on as you get ready to go into the CCIW. It's what you want. The winning is contagious. We've heard a Titan coach say that before, and Kim Nelson Brown. Winning is contagious, losing is contagious, and right now the thing that's contagious is winning. So confidence going high into the CCIW?
I think so. I think they're confident in a number of things. One, they've put in the work. So anytime you've put in the work, you know you can be confident. And then I think they're also really confident in our prep. And if I can throw a shout out to my assistant coach, Brian Ersman, an amazing job on our last preps. I feel like the girls have been totally tuned in. And I think it's because they know now that preparation and paying attention to your opponent is something that's going to make a big difference in the ball game. And they've done a great job with that.
And we've seen that even the game against Whitewater that you lost. You guys jumped out early as if you knew what they were going to do and were ready for it. And that goes to that preparation. And it seems like the young ladies are starting to gel. You had 4 or 5 girls who've played together before some, but you bring in a Kate Knutson, you bring in a Malum, and there's always an adjustment time period. It looks like you're hopefully through most of that adjustment.
I don't know. We've been playing without Mallory Powers, who was our leading scorer at 18 points a game. So I'm not sure. She has a high ankle sprain that's been hard to deal with, I think, for her. So she's missed, I think, 5 of our 7 games, maybe. And we definitely want her in the lineup. So I'm not exactly sure. But what I know about the other girls is that they are outworking their opponent every minute of the ball game.
And that is always something that's great to say about your team. And your teams are always that way. They never quit. They always work hard. I never seen them dogging it up the floor.
Well, that's a good thing.
I'm sure if they were, they'd be sitting on the bench and somebody else would be in.
Your point, exactly.
So I really do enjoy. I'm excited about Wednesday night. I get to see them in action for just the second time this year as they get on the Shark Center floor. That's a 7 o'clock game. Tell us what you know about Elmhurst and what we're going to be looking for in that matchup.
Well, you know me, Derek. I don't look too far ahead, but I did have some game film loaded up to watch on the bus ride home, and I watched last night and this morning already. Playing a lot of players. They got their first win the other night, right before the break. So, they were ranked at the bottom of the conference, but I think their coach always does a nice job with them. They've got some really great perimeter shooters and some 3-point shooters, and then their one big girl in the middle, 00. I'm not exactly sure how to say her name, Harrison. She looks pretty solid, so we got to make sure we move her up and out of can't let her bury herself in the paint, and then contain those 3-point shooters.
Yeah, Taylor, and I'm looking to see if they have a pronunciation. Harrison is what I'll go with until they tell me otherwise. But just as you mentioned, they just got their first win the other night against Dominican University up in. They played that in Elmhurst. Dominicans from River Forest. But they played a couple tough teams. Aurora, University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Loris is another one of those. I don't know anything about Hanover College, but they're tough ones. And we know in the CCIW, there are no gimme wins.
Absolutely not.
So as you go forward, and I realize you played yesterday, so you're just getting that film and getting that going. As Elmhurst comes in and as you get into the CCIW in general, what are some of the things that they need to do throughout the conference schedule to be at the top like they were last year and pull off that tournament victory and go forward? I know there's a lot of things that are going to happen between now and then, but in general, what are the things that you stress to the ladies?
Win every game at home. I think that's really important in your conference schedule. Make sure you get those wins. And then when you're out on the road, get the ones you're supposed to get and then sneak any that you're maybe not supposed to get. So, again, in our conference, you have to play them all. So, and everybody's looking for us. So we got a little bit of a target on our back and just need to go out and protect our house. And then when we're on the road, play as free as we possibly can and then make sure we outwork our opponent.
Well, something you said there, play free. To me, that means have fun. go out there and enjoy, because when you enjoy and have fun, you play so much better.
And that's why you do it. I mean, nobody does it because it's work. Everybody, we want to do it because it's fun. Myself included, my assistant coaches, my staff, and our girls. We want to make sure that we're enjoying ourselves.
Well, and I looked down at the sidelines, the one home game that you've had already, and Pup and I were looking down there, and we saw you smiling during the game, and that's always a good sign. Now, a couple of times I mentioned you were probably discussing with an official a call that they made, and you were doing it with a smile on your face, that you didn't agree with it, but you were making them feel like you were good about it.
Well, I've always been told kill them with kindness, so I guess that's what we're doing.
Well, and you build the relationships with those officials. How in college do you work officials? Because you're not going to change their call unless it's an obvious thing that they can, in the NCAA, where they can go back and do replay. How do you work with them, not necessarily to change that call, but to get their vision set so that the next time they get the call the right way? And
that's exactly what you do. You just simply ask, hey, this has been occurring in this position. Can you keep an eye on it? And most of the time they oblige. They're very, they want to call a good game. No official wants to go out there and be a bad official. So, sometimes they just don't notice it. So if you can bring it to their attention politely, again, I sincerely feel like kill them with kindness. If you're constantly hollering at them about something, it's just going to make it worse. So, sometimes I have to tell my male coaches that too, that maybe that male ego gets a little bit going sometimes on some bad calls, but my staff has done a great job. And we've been warned a couple times, like every other coaches have, to back off a little bit. But again, all officials are out there trying to do the best job they can.
Now, that's kind of a nice thing for fans to hear also, because I know sometimes fans get on officials, and that sometimes they just tune everything out. Fans need to be that way also, and not ride the official, because sometimes they put them off a little bit, and it might affect an official's game. And those officials, as you said, they are trying to do the best job they can. They did not wake up in the morning saying, how can I make a team lose? Right. They have much better things on their minds to do.
Exactly. And, I officiated a lot of volleyball games prior to, and I think you do tune that out a little bit, but every official knows when they do make the wrong call, when it's just really exaggerated by the audience, by the fan base. So they know. And
it makes it tough. And those, again, some of them, they're not doing it for a full living. This is a side job for them. It's something else they do. They're not, I guess they are professionals. They're getting paid for it, but they're not career officials in the sense that this is their livelihood.
We've had some officials do our games that it is their entire career.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's good for them that they can make a living at it. And there is some good pay there. But we are going to let you go. But again, Elmhurst coming up on Wednesday night. You can watch the game on iwsports.com. Pup Washington will be joining me for the call on that. We'll be on about 6:45. We'll talk with Coach Erzman after the game and Coach Smith after the game, and whoever you bring up with you.
Okay.
All right. You are watching and listening to the Titan Coaches Show.